Okay, I think we can get started. Good afternoon, Kamla and Sace. Welcome again to CWS as it is. And
Thank you.
Kamla, welcome to CWS as it is for your first time. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you, Selwyn, for giving me the opportunity to be here.
You're welcome. Kamla, just to orient our audience to who you are, just in one sentence, can you describe yourself?
Uh, I am a born in Guyana, number 48 village, up in the Quarantine Coast. I attended New Amsterdam Multilateral Secondary School, then to Central Quarantine Secondary School. Joined the police force in 1989, to 1997, and migrated to the U.S. in 1997.
What was that experience like, leaving leaving New Amsterdam or Berbice to? Did you? Where were you stationed actually as a policeman, as
I
a
was
policewoman?
stationed in Berbice, from Springlands to Albion was the last I went. But I was a little bit in and out New Amsterdam. Then I went to normally go to Georgetown to do police business and stuff.
And what was that experience like for you as a police?
Pretty much very excited.
Exciting.
Yep.
And you left Guyana when?
In 1997.
And do you go back often? Do you visit Guyana often?
Yes, I do. My first time was in 2008.
2000. And how much things have changed?
It changed a lot.
Is there a particular thing that stood out for you?
Kind of, yes. A lot of youths that I live, little kids have grown to be young men, young women, and they're more socialized than when I was there.
And your topic tonight is suffering from the perspective of the modern household. Why does that resonate with you?
A mother in a whole plays a very significant role in a home. I am a mother, and at one point I was a single parent, so I can tell the experience there, what it is the mother has to play in a home. She juggles several things at the same time. She has to think about her children. She has to think about what they need, what they don't need, a place to live, all these kind of things.
When you think of the word suffering, what comes to mind? How does suffering manifest itself to you? I mean,
Especially where it comes to their suffering is a woman without a job.
Right.
You have to think of, what would I do to feed my children? Comparing to a woman that has a job, even if they have, it's still a thing. But a one without a job, what do you do to feed your kids? How do you go about bringing anything in the home? Or even give them a home, give them clothes to wear?
Before I bring Sace into the conversation, I want to get a feel for you. Guyana is about to have national elections on May 11th. What does that mean to you as a Guyanese woman?
I feel it's very good.
Very good. Why? Are you hopeful? What are you hopeful for?
I hope for change. Complete change. When I say change, complete change.
Why?
I am so happy for the unity that is going on right now in Guyana.
Why
I
do
am
you?
so vexed that I'm not there to share it.
Why do you want this change, Kamla?
Guyana need it. I've traveled in different parts of the United States. I've traveled a lot of places, meeting different people, and I see the way people live different. Like, our country has race problem. When I go to other places and I meet other people and I see you never hear something about race between them. I want that for Guyana. There was nothing we mentioned about race. It only must be mentioned that we are all Guyanese.
Do you still have family back home, relatives?
Yes, I do have. Yes.
Yeah.
I have a brother and his children and two sisters with kids.
And since you are so eager for change, and I guess it means a lot to you, Guyana will transform in some ways. And Sis is going to come on and talk about Guyana's economy and so on, and how that is going to unfold and what that means. But for you as a mother, right, and you've experienced different kinds of financial challenges, I presume. If one of your relatives back home should say to you, let's say a young lady, I don't want to vote because I don't think it will make a difference, what would you be telling her?
I will encourage them to vote. I'll find some way to. Well, I've encouraged my niece.
Yes.
Who is with me. She goes to university there. I've already encouraged her. She's all the way behind me. And I hope what I've done to make her believe in me come true. That's what all I want.
I'm going to just bring in Sis for a second. Sis?
Hi. Well, thank you, Selwyn, for inviting myself, and welcome again, Kamla. I'm excited to see Kamla on this show, and I'll tell you why. Kamla is a unique human being.
Sis, before we continue, if we can do a little visual adjustment. I think it started to get dark over by you, so no, not that. You're fine. You're fine where you were. Just the lighting. Is there a light anywhere in the room you can put on?
Yes. Can you, yeah, maybe.
Sure, sure, that's fine.
Action.
Oh, awesome. Yes, sis. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, I'm excited to have Kamla on this show. I mean, I'm glad it's your show, but I'm glad she's here because Kamla is a unique woman. As you would know, to get an Indian Guyanese woman to serve in the Guyana Police Force or the Guyana Defense Force is worse than pulling teeth. So she is a unique human being to be able to transcend all cultural boundaries, to be able to, and come out successfully in the process. But she raised the question about poverty, and I wanted to get down to that because at the end of the day, all this change that we're talking about will become irrelevant unless we address and attack the issue of poverty. And if you bear with me for 1 minute, let me just leave some statistics because
Sure.
you know me, I'm a numbers guy. And I want your show to always have numbers. In 1971, 38% of Guyana lived in poverty. In 1988, because of the dispensation, we had arrived at a number of 65% of Guyana being in poverty. By then, people were living by the train loads, I would say, or plane loads. By 1993, that number had decreased to 43%. And then by 1999, it was 35%. So where we were in 1971, by 1999, we were back there, where only about 35% of our people were living below poverty. Now in 2012, the number's gone up to 40%. So obviously, Guyana is going in the wrong direction. So this change that I heard Kamla talking about is extremely important because the change that everybody's asking for is what is in the economic pie for me. And I'm not talking about me, Sasenarine Singh. I am talking about the Guyanese people. What is in it for them? Because at the end of the day, every president has always said Guyana has great potential. Guyana has all these resources, gold, diamond, bauxite, rice, sugar. I hear Mr. Major talking about fishing. You know, y'all like fish. So, so I mean, we got a lot of things. I mean, we got the best fresh food, the best fresh fruits, fresh greens. We got it all, but yet 40% of our people are living below the poverty line. And that is the change I see as a person.
Right.
It's really about changing the economic situation for those people who are living below poverty. I mean, a single mother who would be maybe a policewoman, doing security, something of that nature. Those kinds of people want to see a difference in their lives. They want to have a dream. They want to have ambitions. They want to see their children go to university. They want to see their children become doctors, lawyers, everything, and that is the change, because Guyana has the capacity to do it. But potential is nothing unless it's actioned. And that's the whole idea. This change that I hear Kamla talking about is about getting actions, policy actions to bring betterment to the majority.
So let me ask you this, Says. Why is it time to change and rebuild Guyana? Why now more than ever?
Well, Guyana had this situation that is happening between 2011 and now again in 2015. It's a generational thing. The last time Guyana had a chance to really jump off was in, when we got our independence. Then after that, we had another opportunity to do it in 1992. Now, a generation after, we have a third opportunity to do it. So, and this whole thing that we're talking about is to build the nation. I use the word rebuild because we have to rebuild, but it's the transformation of the country to a status that truly reflects what we are as a people. Guyana in the 60s had been categorized as one of the hardest working people, one of the most progressive people. We had people from the islands who were migrating to Guyana because we had a better economic condition than them. We were all spoken about as the breadbasket of the Caribbean. Our city, Georgetown, was known as the Georgetown City in the 60s. These are all things that we got to rebuild, and that's the concept of rebuilding. And the change basically is we need a change in public policy. We need a change in the way our social services function. We need a change in the way we govern ourselves as a people. So that is why I'm saying on the two thing, time for change is to change those three things, and time to rebuild is to get back and do better than where we started this adventure.
I want you to address a point that some people make, and actually somebody made it on this particular program a few weeks ago, that Guyana's experienced economic growth 4-point-something% or something like that, and we should not try to argue against that, or we should not try to change that. I mean, how should I put it? The point they were making is that if we have economic growth at 4-point-something%, why are we trying to change the government? What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, there's economic growth and there's economic growth, and economic growth at anything below sub-5, it's been empirically proven. Anything in a developing country, a country that what we call not mature as yet. I mean, the US and England and Europe, these places can grow at sub-5%, and that's fine because their economy is mature. They have enough facilities in place to be able to generate enough wealth for enough people in their countries if they grow at below 5%. But a country like Guyana or Haiti or Nicaragua or Bolivia, countries who are all what you call lower medium country of regards to wealth, for them to leapfrog into a higher level of economic existence, they need to grow at 8% and above. India is growing at 8%, China is growing at 8%, and these are mega countries that are trying to leapfrog to the status where they become truly developed. So Guyana don't have a choice like Haiti or Nicaragua or Bolivia. We don't have a choice if we want to bring better healthcare system, better education systems, better, more money in the pockets of the police women. we have to grow at 8%. So telling me you're growing at 4.3% as we did last year is not making me happy, because the whole idea is that we need to aggressively push down that 40% of our people who are living in poverty right now. And we have to grow at a fast enough rate to create the jobs for these young people that are coming out of universities and high schools every year in Guyana.
Kamla,
Yes.
a question I have for you. I ask everybody this question that come on talking about Guyana politics and so on. If you could ask the current president Ramatar a question and former President Barjagdeo a question, as a mother, what would you ask them?
The first question I like to ask them is the situation with the women in terms of domestic violence, suicide.
You're not going to be asking Barjagdeo that.
Yes, I need to ask him, because he is part and parcels of it, says. Isn't he?
Yes, I mean, no, I was just being a bit mischievous.
Yeah. First thing, why aren't there protection for them?
Yes.
None at all. To tell you the truth, I was once a battered woman. And I think there should be somewhere, some form of something that could help educate these people. How to go about helping themselves too. Not blaming all on the government or anybody else. But there should be some mechanism in place to help them, where they can get jobs, how they can go about it by themselves. Most of them depend on a husband alone. Then when the husband beat them, they go to the police, there is no help. What both of them can do in that form to help them?
Stelwyn, can I ask a question?
Of course. And Chase, and sis, can you like adjust your screen so your chin doesn't get cut off?
Okay, Kamla, the question that I really want to ask though is, I know I'm really deeply sorry to hear about your situation, but as a mother, as a policewoman, how did you find living in Guyana? I mean, on your salary, or tell me an experience of that. How did it work out, and what do you think could be done differently to so that people like me and Selwyn and yourself can inform the conversation, inform the politicians to help these people more. We really need to help people. Yeah. So, how the question really is, tell me about the experience of a policeman working on a salary, and like what are some of their expenses and so forth, and their income generally, not your income, but generally a police person's income, and how they make it. I mean, how they exist.
It's very strenuous. When I joined the Guyana Police Force, I was getting $1,150 a month.
Oh God.
When I left it, I was getting $2,600, $26,000 a month. And at that time, when the cost of living was not like now, it was very strenuous still. Today, I went back, I still have friends in the police force, and asked, a policewoman gets around $55,000, $60,000 a month. If they have to pay $25,000 towards mortgage or rent, then they'll have to spend another $40,000 for food, because the cost of living is very high now. They're left with nothing. What do they do to clothe their kids? What do they do?
Transportation.
Just giving them a little entertainment. Plus, they didn't pay their phone bills, they didn't pay GPL.
Oh my.
They don't have money. If GPL cut it out, they don't have no money to buy kerosene to light the lamp even. Leaves them with nothing. What I would like to see happen is that they should at least get a very high increase,
Mhm.
salary increase.
What do you think about the ideas of free house lots for people at that bottom level, like police women, policemen, nurses, people who are working for that $55,000? What do you think about the government doing something like for free house lots? Because Guyana has a lot of land.
A lot.
What do you think
They
about
should
that?
have, like, I would say, create a housing scheme
Mm-hmm.
and help them to build. Or give them like special loans with a low payment or something that can fit with their salary. And I think that would help them. Give them good allowance, like, make them have the benefit of whatever they're working for.
So with these economic disadvantages, Kamla, why do you think there aren't more policewomen or policewomen protesting against their low salaries?
I think, from my perspective, I think they're all afraid. If they come out to protest, they're not gonna have a job. That's what the government do. You come out and you protest, you lose your job.
And do you know anyone in Guyana right now that is still a policewoman?
Yes.
And what are some of their complaints?
What are
some of their complaints?
cost of living? Every time you go, it's cost of living, and the workload is more.
So yeah, go ahead, sis.
You have to pay transportation for yourself now. You have to pay transportation. You have to work different shifts. They transfer people far away from their home. A person living in Skellen, what you're working in Georgetown doing? Leave your family. All kind of things they're causing there now.
Selwyn,
That type of salary giving.
there's a shortage of 600 policemen in the Guyana police force right now. So that reconciles with what I'm hearing from Kamla. So they have to spread them thin and they will have to overwork them and, of course, underpay them because, and this is driving corruption in the police force because there's an option that the police force, as of today in 2015, is on sale.
Yes, I hear a lot about bribery and so on as the norm for traffic stops and different types of crime. You can pay to get off, or pay your way out of an arrest. I mean that is pretty sad. But sis, I have a financial question for you. Some of the countries you mentioned, on the developed countries that are growing, well, actually not growing, but on the developed countries like Nicaragua and Haiti, they have a large population, millions per se. Guyana is under 1 million domestically, for many reasons, migration and so on. What do you think about the immigration discussion to populate Guyana so that can assist in Guyana's economic growth? How do you explain that?
Well, first of all, you gotta fix the formula for what you have. The current stock of people you have in the country, you gotta be able to. I mean, it is always welcome to have what you call migration inwardly of citizens of quality, meaning people who will bring skills that will create further jobs, or even bring money. I mean, like in America, for instance, or Canada. Canada has that migration policy of a citizen of quality, whereby they're looking for certain skills to migrate. You migrate into Canada, and they accept you. And in America, they have the citizens of the economic citizens who can come to this country if they invest upwards of $1 million in a business. So I like that model of those kinds of people from Singapore, China, wherever, who has a lot of money and could come to Guyana and want to start a business to create jobs. Yes, I would welcome that. But to bring people who need social services even more than our people at home, then that will not make any sense to me. We need to help our people at home and to remove that poverty gap that we have, that 40%. And the way I would So inward migration is one way of helping to reduce the poverty gap. But there's other ways. For example, Kamla spoke about this change, but this change means we have to improve the way we do economic policy. Policy's got to be done with the people in mind. Right now, the Jagdeo Ramatar, I would say the Jagdeo government, because as Moses said at the Borbis rally, can the real president step to the front? But this Jagdeo Ramatar regime, their economic policies is borrow and spend for friends. That's it. Borrow, spend for friends. It's not borrow to develop the productive capacity so that all of Guyana can benefit. So first thing we need to do is change the way we do economic policies. The second thing we need to do is change the way we govern ourselves, because one of the things that I see that could create a lot of positive impact on the poverty level is the quality of our local governments. If we have more of our people involved in governing themselves at a local level, they will be involved in jobs, they will be involved in regulatory kind of jobs, they will be able to encourage and stimulate jobs within these local communities. The third thing is we got to open Guyana for business. I mean, the PVP keeps talking that, yes, Guyana is open for business. But Guyana is only open for business to businessmen who prepared to do a deal with the cabal. You know, the people who are going to reap the logs out, reap the raw gold out, raw logs out, raw rice, everything that is leaving Guyana in a raw state. We need a quality of businessmen who will come and develop an industry around our products that when it leaves Guyana, it leaves in a value-added form, you know, furniture, jewelry, rice, cereal, and those kinds of things leaving Guyana, processed green vegetables, processed fruits, all packaged and ready to be put into a supermarket in Barbados. You know, I'll tell you one thing. We don't have to go to America to solve our poverty issue. The Caribbean imports of food, they import food to the worth of $1 billion every year. We just got to produce enough to do a quarter of that, and Guyana will be flying.
Wow.
Literally flying.
What do you say to the government who says that there is economic growth? Let me try it this way. What would you say to the government who says, well, they plan to implement those things if you would give them another chance? What would you say?
They've been there for 23, 24 years now. I mean, come on. How long more do they need? Mm-hmm. How long more do they, I mean, the PNC had 28 years. They had 22 years. Between the two administration, there's 50 years of Guyana invested in unleashing this potential that is elusive, that we can't get. The reason why I'm supporting this coalition is this. And that's why I'm believing this coalition can finally unlock this potential. It's the first time I've seen Guyana so united. I looked at the Essequibo rally yesterday. Mm-hmm. It was a sea of Guyanese of all races. I've never seen this in such a mass scale in my life.
What do you explain? What do you explain is the reason for that? What do you believe is the reason for that?
I think first of all it's the young people. I think the young people are fed up of all these dinosaurs. And dinosaurs does not mean age. I'm talking about dinosaurs in their mentality. Mm-hmm. If you listen to the PVP campaign, we're talking about 1983 and 1974. What does that have to do with me today? I really need to know. I mean, if I was a 20-year-old, or I wish I was, a 22-year-old that's living in Guyana, and the quick question I will be asking both of them, what is in it for me personally? It's down to that granular level. I don't want you to tell me that, oh, we've done all of this and we've spent $50 billion in 2013 on the health and education system. I don't care. I don't care if you spend $50 billion because it has done nothing for me as an ordinary Guyanese. I want to know that when I go to the Georgetown Hospital, service is rendered to me. When I go to the Albion Police Station, service is rendered to me. When I go to the University of Guyana, service is rendered to me. That is what I care about.
And you, Kamla, regarding the rally that Says just alluded to, just spoke about in Essequibo, what do you think is the reason for that? This large amalgamation of the different races coming together. What do you believe is responsible for that?
I think the youths, especially youths, are very